calories. Walking is a great way to burn calories. An average person that weighs like around 150, 155 pounds can really burn approximately 140 to 150 calories by walking about 30 minutes a day. It is definitely an underrated form of exercise, but it holds immense value for our overall well-being. And walking is a simple thing that we should all be doing. But when you combine that with a healthy diet, oh my goodness, it is a game changer. A new study that's out that might kind of trip you up a little bit based on what we've always thought of as the 10,000 step marker, that there might be something even better.
You're listening to the Visibly Fit podcast. Hey, I'm your host, Wendie Pett, and every week I'll give you holistic, practical solutions for everyday issues related to nutrition, healing, functional fitness, and behavior modifications. As a naturopath, fitness expert, and wellness coach for over 20 years, my goal is to empower you to reach for greater health and to rise up to your next level of living in mind, body, and spirit. You were created with greatness in mind. It's time to own it. Are you with me? Then let's dive in.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Visibly Fit podcast. I'm your host, Wendie Pett, and today we're going to talk more about the incredible benefits of walking. I've talked about walking before. It is definitely an underrated form of exercise, but it holds immense value for our overall well-being. And so I decided, let's do another podcast episode on the benefits of walking, because we've explored, various statistics in the past. We've highlighted how impactful walking can be, just even based on just taking daily steps. The whole suggestion of 10,000 steps a day can significantly improve your cardiovascular health. It can boost your mood. It can aid in weight management. But we're going to be talking about something in addition to those 10,000 steps, a new study that's out that might kind of trip you up a little bit based on what we've always thought of as the 10,000 step marker, that there might be something even better. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But we've also talked in the past about just burning calories. Walking is a great way to burn calories. An average person that weighs like around 150, 155 pounds can really burn approximately 140 to 150 calories by walking about 30 minutes a day, at a moderate pace, right? And this is just a simple activity that everybody can do that has working legs and working feet, right? And it's not intimidating. Walking is a simple thing that we should all be doing. But when you combine that with a healthy diet, oh my goodness, it is a game changer. So we've talked about that in the past, and that I'm all about whole food, plant-based lifestyle. So when you do whole food, plant-based and walking, wow, watch your body transform. Also, whenever you're walking, it's really good for our mental health. We've talked in the past about people that struggle with anxiety or depression. And studies have really found that just 30 minutes, you guys, 30 minutes of walking can really change the effects of that depression or that anxiety. Noticeable improvements. Now, I know I've shared the story in the past about my past patient, Sheila. And if you haven't heard that episode, you can go listen to it. But I think I'll share that story again because it's so powerful, just in case you missed it. So Sheila was a patient of mine for a little while. She went through the Visibly Fit 7-week accelerator program, did phenomenally well, but then got off course over I guess it was like a year or two later, and then decided that she just wanted to reach out because she was struggling and wanted to get back on track. But she was just in this place of being depressed and had this just serious anxiety, but really depressed. And at the time, her children, she has 2 kids. Her kids were young. She just was in kind of a funk, if you want to know the truth. She was just in a funk and couldn't seem to get her way out. And so she called and said, what can I do? I need to get back on track, but I literally am so depressed. I don't even want to get out of my clothes. In fact, I haven't of her nighttime clothes. She's been in her pajamas. She said for like a week and a half to 2 weeks. She said she's not going to work. She doesn't want to even care for her family. She's just in a funk and didn't want to get out of bed, just in a stagnant, bad place. And so I had said to her, I said, Sheila, I said, here's the deal. Some of us struggle with this a little bit more than others, but I promise when you move your body will start to respond, and your mental health will shift as well. And so I said, Sheila, would you do me a favor? And this is in the middle of winter in Minnesota. And I said to her, I said, would you be willing to put on, just right over your pajamas, put on, some snow pants and a nice coat, scarf, hat, gloves, some snow boots, and just go for a walk around the block, and then call me whenever you're done. And she thought I was like a little nuts for saying that. I'm like, yeah, seriously, this is what the doctor ordered, just for you to go around the block. And she said, okay, I'll do it. And, a little reluctantly, because it was so cold. This was like December or January in Minnesota. So really cold. And so, but reluctantly she did it. And when she came back, she called me, and she was giggling and crying kind of at the same time. Like she had this breakthrough, like she literally had a physical breakthrough, but also a mental shift and a spiritual breakthrough. Like there was just all kinds of things that were moving, and emotions too, right? So when we walk, you guys, there is great power in shaking loose, literally, toxins that are in our body, but also just stinking thinking. It gets us out of that depressed state, because we are releasing positive endorphins, those happy hormones, and serotonin, and all, the dopamine, all of those wonderful things when we are moving our body. So walking has great benefits. And that was one of the things that I shared in my past episode about walking. I also shared about longevity. We all want to live longer, right? I mean, we're all into this I say we all, okay. I am. I don't know about you, but I want to live longer, and I am all about the anti-aging and longevity movement. And so if it's all about just plugging in walking as being associated with a longer lifespan, sign me up. Sign me up. How about you? Like, what if you just started walking and that could change your life for the better, for the long haul? There was a study that was published in the Journal of American Medical Association, the Internal Medicine, that found that those who walked regularly at about 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, had a 20 to 30% reduced risk, should I say, of death compared to those who were sitting behind a desk, sitting on the couch, whatever, being sedentary. I mean, that's a big percentage, 20 to 30% reduced risk of death just by walking, compared to those that don't do anything, that sit on their keisters and do nothing. So what does it take for you to say, okay, you know what? I'm just going to start going for a walk. I mean, even walking has incredible bone health benefits, right? We've talked about that in the past, that when we walk, it's a weight-bearing exercise, which is crucial. I mean, it's crucial for maintaining bone density. And it really has been shown that with walking on a regular basis, it can help prevent osteoporosis, strengthen those bones. So if you have osteoporosis that runs in the family, get out and walk. I promise this will start to strengthen your bones and prevent that density loss. And so walking, it's really easy, right? It really is. You just might need to be a little more intentional about it, especially if you have a desk job, or maybe you are behind the wheel a lot, you're driving for your job. You've got to be intentional about getting in your steps and getting in these walks. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this today. We're going to talk about just practical tips that you can incorporate more walking into your daily routine. We're going to talk about, this focused 10,000 step theory. And is that the best theory still today? Well, I have something to share with you on that because we're always learning something new, right? We're also going to really talk about just how small changes can lead to really significant health improvements and advancements. So I want you to lace up those walking shoes and join me as we just take this podcast to another level, because I really want a better health for you, and we can do this together. I also want to encourage you that if you want to take your health to a new level and you are like, this walking thing might be a really good idea, then I want you to go to walkitoffnow.com and join my 6-week walking workout challenge. I believe you'll really enjoy it if you haven't done it before. But go to walkitoffnow.com, or you can just go to wendiepett.com and you can find it there as well. All right, well, let's get going onto what I really want to share in this podcast. And it's all about the theory of the 10,000 steps a day will keep the doctor at bay, so to speak. Is that reality, or is there something even better that we can do that has shown significant results? Well, there has been some research in Japan that has said that IWT, which is interval walking training, has actually helped to improve lower blood pressure, depression symptoms, and stroke, while enhancing that muscle strength and that bone density, and also increasing your immune system function. So I was thinking about this a little bit, because how often has it just been ingrained in us? And I've been one to ingrain it as well. 10,000 steps every day. And I've always been on a mission of taking those 10,000 steps. Some days are easier than others, right? To get in that 10,000 steps. Let's get real. We have to be intentional. But, I was reading this study and I just thought, this is really fascinating, because Japanese researchers, they developed this technique. Developed it, whatever. They really did research on it to include interval walking training and slow running. And they have found that it's really been helpful for people of all ages and all fitness levels, that slow running and light intensity exercise, we all know it helps to activate our brain. It helps our cognitive health. It helps to provide a better mental health benefit when we are moving, walking, running. It's been known to help in multiple ways, right? And there's so many ways that we can take it up a notch. Like my husband and I, we use weighted vests. We don't do this on all of our walks, but after we have our dinner, we go for about a 15-minute walk. And usually on that walk, we will use our weighted vest. And I have a 20-pound, and I think, gosh, I don't know how heavy my husband's is. I think it's maybe 20, 30 pounds. Anyway, but there's a significant enhancement when you do little things like that with your walk. But let's talk a little bit about this IWT, this interval walking training. Okay. And how is this different from focusing on that 10,000 steps? Before I go there, I just wanted to let you know that according to the National Cancer Institute, if U.S. adults aged 40 to 85 increased moderate to vigorous physical activity by just 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes, y'all, then that could actually reduce annual deaths by over 100,000 people a year, 111,174 to be exact per year. Isn't that amazing? If we just spent 10 minutes a day, don't you have 10 minutes? Of course you do. So you've got to get to making yourself your most important appointment, right? Sometimes we're just like, oh, I'll get to it later. I'll get to it. And then by the end of the day, you're exhausted and you just never get to you. You've got to schedule yourself in. And I know I've said that a million times on this podcast, but I cannot stress it enough. That 10 minutes or more a day is going to be, it's going to stack up on one another and help with that longevity for the coming years, right? So walking, it's one of the most simplest forms of exercise that anyone can do. And so it can improve our health. And so why are they starting to say that now there's maybe even something different that we can do that's even better than those 10,000 steps? Well, again, Japanese researchers have brought in IWT, interval walking training, and slow running. And these approaches, they're not only effective, but they are they're just adaptable for different lifestyles. And like if you're on the go, or if you're traveling, or depending on your physical ability and stamina, like you can start to build up and get stronger and faster with your gait, with your maybe even your running gets better, stronger. Maybe you can go a little bit longer, but just 30 minutes a day is what they found out. 30 minutes a day was especially helpful for middle-aged to senior citizens to go from like a slow walk, like just a slow, relaxed walk for 3 minutes. And then you bump up to a brisk walk for 3 minutes. Okay. And you do that in like a repetition for 30 minutes. And I said every day, but I believe it's only like, you only need to do it 3 to 5 days a week for 30 minutes. And you will have greater benefits than the 10,000 steps a day. Is this true? I don't know. Researchers have said it is. And I know we've seen a lot of research that's been a little, that we can call mythbusters out on. But I believe that there's something to that. And so while we don't want to live a sedentary life, and if we're choosing to bring in IWT, interval walking training, does that mean sit on your rear the other days? Absolutely not. I believe it's still an opportunity to get in your steps for the day, instead of just sitting and being sedentary. But if you could take it up a notch and see that, wow, okay, this high WT method for just 30 minutes, I can do that. I can do that. Because what they noticed was that when they did this study, that their systolic blood pressure in the interval walking training group dropped 4 times more than those that were just doing 10,000 steps a day. Interesting, huh? Yeah, very interesting. 4 times more than 10,000 steps a day. And then the diastolic blood pressure decreased by 2.5 times, which I think is fascinating. So, these researchers, they believe that the risk of stroke is decreased by about 40% when they started this habit, and then went through this habit over the course of about 5 years. Symptoms of depression were reduced by 50%. That's huge. Oh my gosh. Okay. So we already know the benefit of walking is like through the roof. So what if we change it up a little bit? And I'm on board with this. And sometimes I do it just kind of intuitively because, well, I kind of get bored of just walking. But, or I was walking with my sister-in-law the other day, and she's got some long legs, and I was like, man, I was huffing it. So, I was going pretty quick. And so I'm like, okay, this is nice. My heart is racing a little bit more than normal. So I think when we mix it up a little bit here and there, it's going to be beneficial. But these stats are just amazing to me. I mean, seriously, for depression to be reduced by 50% when IWT, interval walking training, was incorporated over the course of 5 years, that's amazing. And they said that sleep efficiency was increased by 12%. People are struggling with sleep these days, partly because they're, on their phones or watching TV, and there's other reasons around that. But if they start to bring in that healthy diet and start to walk, and not just the 10,000 steps, but bring in IWT and increase their sleep efficiency by 12%, that's fantastic. So, and regarding the blood pressure stats, I mean, that speaks volumes to me. So I don't know if it does to you, but I would love to hear your take on it. And I don't know, I think it's kind of cool just so you don't get bored. I mean, I don't know, walking isn't, it's not always exciting. Okay, let's get real. If you're walking the same route, especially, oh my, that gets boring really quickly. So you do want to change up your route. You want to change up maybe what you're listening to or not listening to. Maybe you're just going without a podcast in your ear or music in your ear, and you're listening to what the Lord wants to share with you. Maybe it's a prayer walk. Love my prayer walks. So really honing in on what is good for you in that day or in that week, and being intentional about it, because I'm just excited to bring this into my own walking routine. But I think when you go to walkitoffnow.com, you're going to see that, wow, okay, I'm talking about 10,000 steps, but I also incorporate and start talking a little bit about IWT along the way. And that is just intuitive nature, I guess, of bringing that in. But yeah, I think you'll find that to be very helpful if you're looking for maybe just a 6-week walking challenge that you can have some accountability with, and maybe just some direction and guidance. I mean, yes, we know how to walk, right? But sometimes we really need to get our body more in alignment for proper walking position. Some people walk with their head forward. Some people walk with their head back. Some people have an incorrect, way in which their heel, in which their foot is striking the ground, and it should be a heel to toe roll. So anyway, all of that is really important so that you can enhance your muscle strength and also keep your just keep your posture in alignment. That's really important. But also we want to just boost our aerobic endurance, right? And so walking can do that. And I believe this interval walking training can help with that as well. So I'm curious to get your take on it. And are you willing to bring this into your routine, especially for 2025, right? People are looking for new ways of working out and new routines. What if it's just within your walking routine? It doesn't have to be something so grandiose, but you just mix up your walking routine so that, wow, I'm going to be enhancing my, getting my blood pressure in a different way because of the IWT method, depression along the way, reducing that by 50%. Did you know that, wow, they even noticed that after 5 months of doing interval walking training, that people's hamstrings were 12% stronger compared to those who only did the 10,000 steps a day. Yeah. Okay. So there are great benefits. So I'm on board. Are you? So I would love to hear your take on this. Feel free to send me a message on social media or on wherever you view this, on YouTube or Instagram. I love to dialogue with you. But let's take this challenge. Let's take this challenge together, right? And let's do it while we're doing the Walk It Off Now 6-week challenge. So again, go to walkitoffnow.com so you can join us, and would love to be your accountability buddy. All right, bless you. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Visibly Fit. I hope you are staying on board with your goals, and hopefully you're picking that one goal that really has just kind of jumped out at you. I know we talked about this in the past, that one goal that hopefully you circled and you were like, yes, this is the one that I am going to focus on this year, instead of all the other goals that might be overwhelming and then you get nothing done. So let's focus on that one goal. And if that one goal for you was to get 10,000 steps in a day, well, let's maybe change it up a little bit and bring in that interval walking training as well, because you're only going to see your physical, mental, spiritual, emotional health, all of that be enhanced to a whole nother level. So let's do this together. Again, go to walkitoffnow.com, or you can find the 6-week challenge at wendiepett.com as well. So thanks so much for tuning in. Bless you, and keep on keeping on. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Well, that's a wrap for today's show. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love spending this time with you. To learn more and get more free resources, just head on over to wendiepett.com. And thank you in advance for sharing this episode and this podcast, following and subscribing, not only to this podcast, but finding me on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, I'm probably there too. Until next week and our next podcast time together, make it a Visibly Fit day.